Then we'll move on. The next item is to review and consider approving the creation of a senior tax-exempt program, STEP, S-T-E-P, for the Toma Area School District.
Mrs. Polk has done the background work on this, so she's here to talk about it.
Sure. And STEPS, what it stands for is Senior Tax Exchange Program. And basically this was a program that was started in Colorado. And in 1995, Kaukauna School District was the first district in Wisconsin to pilot this. And since then, several districts throughout the state have started. And as many of you know, one of Lemon-Wire's goals is community outreach and getting our community involved in our school. And in looking at ways I could do that, I came across this program and thought, considering the time frame right now when we're going to referendum, that this would be a really terrific opportunity to extend to our senior citizens. So basically, who is eligible are senior citizens 62 years of age or older that own a home and reside within the boundaries of the school district. And what that would mean is that if they, you can kind of see there for you, if they were to volunteer hours or come in and read like several of our senior citizens do, or assist in the school, there would be an application process that they would complete, and I have hard copies for those of you that would prefer that, but they would complete an application. We would do our background check just like we do when anybody comes in and volunteers, and they would be given the opportunity to receive a credit for their taxes. And there's a little bit of discrepancy as far as how much the credit is. The most recent I found was 59.17 hours at $7.25 an hour, so roughly $429 per household that they would receive a credit for. And in talking to other districts, what that looks like is in June, a check would be cut for that citizen, and it would be a two-party check. So it would be their county or wherever their taxes are paid to, and to the citizen. And if their taxes were already paid, most of the townships or whoever it was usually just signed off on it, and that money would become theirs, or it would be applied to that year's taxes or the following year's taxes. I contacted 4 districts and that were able to share with me how much they typically were to pay out or were willing to. The highest amount that I heard was $15,000 for the year. On average, the other districts were all between $4,000 and $7,000 that they had. And I don't know that you embedded this one, Cindy, but Osceola last January approved this, and this was just an article that was in the paper. Are you want to pass that one to me? Do you have it embedded? That kind of gave an overview and explained the board's decision on accepting it, and kind of gives a lot of the information that I already shared, but looks for an opportunity for senior citizens to get something back, especially most of them don't have children in the district. Some don't have even grandchildren, so it's a way for them to get a little return on their taxes.
Money for this comes
from the district. It's usually paid out of Fund 80. It's typically how the other districts paid it, and that would be in June. They would see how many hours each person had. They do have the maximum amount, and then whatever it was that they had a log that the principal and the teacher would sign off of, and then that was paid out in June. So it would be money coming from the district.
Now, typically, we don't use Fund 80.
No. I think it's a really neat program. And Nikki did talk to me earlier regarding the program, and I think it's worthwhile to pursue a little bit further. But if I could take another month to just
Absolutely.
look at some of the details. One of the questions I did have, Nikki, and I forgot to ask you this last time, was if a district wanted to cease the program, how would you do that? And you may or may not have the answer for that, but that's certainly something I'd like to investigate a little bit.
And I'm not sure if they were to come to an end, how that exactly would work.
Is it something that has to be approved every year?
And I'm not exactly sure on that either. No, that's fine. The information that I have, this gold sheet or that's embedded, that's a handy sheet that kind of has the answers that I was able to obtain. the feedback that I received was, it was kind of not rewarding, but giving back to those people, mostly that already were volunteering hours. Did they get additional people? Yes. But a lot of it was giving back to those people that were already volunteering as well. So, it's hard to say how many people in addition we would get. But I know that their time and the amount of volunteers that I have that come into our building is valuable. And we have students that really benefit from even using them as mentors. I have a couple of individuals that come in once a week and meet with students, and they read and they as a mentor, and that's been really beneficial for our students.
I envision this, as we talked about the Gifted and Talented program, being able to specifically highlight areas where we need assistance and getting people in who have an interest in that area to work with our TAG students. I mean, this would fall in place nicely with that.
I know one of these applications that I received was from Sun Prairie, and that was something that it was their secretary that I talked to, but she said that they look for students that have certain strengths, and then people that are retired. Her example was, I believe it was an author in their area, came in and shared different things and how they got to their career and just volunteered their time within the school that way. But it's an area definitely that we could maybe find, not more typical people that have retired that have different traits that students may be interested in, and maybe they would be willing to volunteer some of their hours. Any questions on the STEP or?
Yeah, it sounds like a great program, and Greg can get some questions answered. Encouraging volunteers and taxpayer relief is always a positive.
It comes at an appropriate time, so
Very appropriate time.
I think that we can offer that as a way that we're looking to help our community as well.
Yeah.
Does anybody want a hard copy of it?
It's embedded.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the applications are as well, aren't they?
Yes.
You bet.
And I do know that the state is making some changes to Fund 80. I think they're looking at having some more stringent requirements for the use of that fund. So it'll be that's something we should check into too, if this will continue to be.
I'd like to see if you can fund it through Fund 10 too, before we just start using Fund 80. If we haven't used Fund 80 and we just have questions on whether that's what we want to start doing into Fund. I think it's a great program. I just want to look into it a little bit more.
All right, thanks for coming up with the idea.
All right, thank you.